Hi everybody, Jo here again. Welcome to another Mindful Monday playtime catch-up crafty session with me. I hope you're feeling well and I hope your week's set off to a good start. Now today we're answering a question from Jeanette, and thank you to all those of you that do message questions in and leave lovely comments. I do appreciate it, so thank you. Now, Jeanette is a newbie and she was asking, how do you start off with either a card design or a journal page design? So I thought that's what we'd do. We'd go from start to finish. So get yourself comfortable, grab yourself a cheeky brew. I've got a glass of water. It won't last, don't worry. We'll be back to the cheeky coffee tomorrow. Now, when I'm starting off, often I do find if your mojo's gone away or if you're a newbie, and it's important, it's lovely that we have new followers all the time. It's good to start off with a smaller piece of card. Now, this is multifarious card and it's an A6 size. And the lovely thing at Lavinia, we have packs of different sizes. So this is a pack of the 20 of the A6 size. And I find a size like this, it's nice, it's not daunting, but you would be surprised just how much detail we can get on here. And I'm going to start with my stamping. So I've got my copy of paper here. Just for me, I find it better to have a little cushion to stamp on. Again, that's just, the quirk of me. And I've looked through my stamps and I've chosen the Wild Hares set for my focal point. I thought size-wise they'd go well on here. So we're going to stamp 2 of them. So we'll put them on our blocks ready. Now, which 2? I think we'll go for these 2. And I'm going to use the black, the Nocturne. So I'm going to use a couple of different Nocturnes, but I'll introduce them to you as we go along. So we'll start with the Nocturne. And again, this could be any. All I've done is looked through my stamps. And it's a nice way, I think, to just, because sometimes we forget what stamps we've got. And I'm just wiping off. I've just caught the edge of that a little. So, and I'm thinking, we'll go there, I think. Now a silhouette, so give the ink time to soak into the card. Don't be in a rush to lift it up. Yeah, that's lovely. And then let's ink the other one up. So all I've done is I've grabbed myself, as I say, a couple of bunnies. And I'm thinking as well, with Easter coming up, bunnies are great for that. So it can be, if you want to make spring cards, a design like this, you could turn it perfectly into, as I say, an Easter or a spring card, or Valentine's. I'm thinking, let's have them looking at each other. Now, I think I might have smudged this one a little. I felt it slide as I pushed it down. Again, that was just me. But if it is, don't worry, we can get round it. Yeah, it's smudged slightly, missed a bit, but don't worry, we'll get round that. I certainly won't be losing any sleep over that. It happens. And I'm just going to give these a wipe with my Inky Binky before I take them off, just because that's what I do. And I always start, just for me, or in general, I tend to start with my stamping first, and I'll just give them a bit of a blot. Oh dear, did you hear that? So my craft table, I don't know about you, I've got lots of things balanced at the back and they just all slid off. But hey ho, it's what happens when you come in my craft room. Now, what I want to do now is I want to ground this. So the way I'm going to build this up in my head is I've got my focal point. And as I say, don't worry about this. We can get rid of that. But we want to add some surroundings around it, or our little bunnies. So we'll go for our land first. And the way we're going to do that is use our Acetate Hills masks. And there's 4 in the pack. So we'll get all 4 out. And we're going to go for elements, and I've got olive and green sleeves inks pads. And the reason I've got the 2 is to help me with perspective. So again, if you're one of our lovely newbies, the lighter things are, they are in the distance. So it helps with perspective to have a dark and then a light. So we'll use olive first. And again, I've got my ink pad and my lid, and I'm just going to get my stencil brush. And we're going to dip it in the lid. Again, I just like to blend it in the lid. I just find it helps. And I used to do it on my mat, but it's amazing how much ink you waste when you do that, or on a piece of paper. So I tend to do it in the lid just because I'm from the Lake District and we're very thrifty. We don't like to waste. So this is the deeper colour, like I say, and I'm actually going to get rid of that paper. There we go. Now, I need to check you can see that, because recently I've got a habit of doing things off shot, so I'm very sorry. So for those ladies who've let me know, thank you very much. As I say, this is what happens when you come in my craft room. Now, I want to ground the bunnies. So I'm just going to put this right under the little derrieres, look. And we'll always go on the mask. Even though we want this dark, always go on the mask. It's a good habit to get into. And then we're just going to ink up a little bit more. And then we'll just add a little at the base. Go right across. And then I think we'll put another one. But I don't want, you see, if I just tuck it, if I just tuck it directly up, that would look wrong. So make sure you just alter it slightly. So I tend to move it along and just alter the angle. So I'm thinking maybe we'll go there. And I'm not going to ink up again. I'm just going to use the ink that's actually on my brush and on the mask. Because again, you can use that up. And if I turn that there, you can see. So that's nice and lovely. And I'm just going to wipe this before I put it away. I'm afraid I'm not one of these that just puts everything to one side and cleans it all after you've gone. I like to just do it as we're here. Now I'm going to get rid of the olive and I'm going to come in with the green sleeves. Now, green sleeves is a lighter colour, and obviously I'll be going with my darker because I've only got one this size brush for my green. So what I do, and this is where Mr. Inky Binky comes in, or any rag, you know, oh sorry Inky, calling him a rag. But yes, if you've got, some people, this is a material napkin. You can use tea towels, whatever you've got. You could use kitchen towel, but I'm just going to take the most off it of the darker colour, and then that'll be fine when I'm going to my light colour. So I'm thinking let's have some hills. Now this one I think is a bit too mountainous, so maybe we'll go for this one. And I really want to think of the shape. I almost don't want it sort of like going through the heads. So I'm thinking I want a nice sort of shape. I don't want to cut them off at the neck, do I? Let me just, maybe we could have it, yeah, maybe above them, just through the ears. I want enough room for my sky. Right, I've gone for that. That's what I'm doing. And again, on the edge. And if I flick in from the edge and just come, I want to leave a bit of a sort of light area around them. I find that my focal point will show up a bit more if I do that. So take that away, and then we're getting, just building up our scene. So I'm happy with that. And again, I'm just going to wipe those. We'll give my mat a bit of a wipe too, just to keep everything nice and clean. Now, I want to add a bit of sky. So somewhere I've got my Della blue. This is my favourite blue. And I know you shouldn't have favourites, but for skies, it really is my blue. And again, when I'm starting from scratch like this, I tend to just go for things that I'm happy with. Now, I want to add my moon mask. And I could put it over here, look. I could put it over here. But what I'm thinking is where I've got that shape there, that would complement it really well. So that's what we'll do. And again, I have to turn it to the side. In fact, I think I'm actually going to work upside down. You know, when you're doing things like this, make it easy for yourself. And again, I always start at the base, work my way around, because I've got most ink on my brush when I first start, and that's where I want most colour, at the base. And then I'm just going to add a little bit in the sky. Again, I'm just going to ink up slightly for this corner. Let's have a look. Just going to grab a piece of kitchen towel to hold this with. Just want a little bit more on this side, look. Just a bit more there, I'm thinking. Again, just take your time adding it. Right, that looks nice, so I'm happy with that. And again, I'm just going to give my moon mask a bit of a wipe before I put it over there. I'm going to use that again in a minute, I'm thinking. So that's the basis of our design. Now, just because I know these bunnies will be bothering you, and we don't want that, so we're going to get our chalk pastel pencils, beautiful, and we're going to go for the white. And what I'm thinking is, look, let's just give, sorry, I nearly put my head over then, didn't I? Let's just give our bunnies a bit of a tail, and again, a bit of a shape. And where that didn't quite, look, just gonna, and again, I just give it a smudge because that'll fix it, but also makes it look better. So just down there, for just catch, so, and again, just take your time. I'm doing mine at a bit. So that's it. Nobody would ever know, would they? I have to say my white is getting, definitely using my white the most of any of those colours. Just dropped all my stamps on the floor. Do you know, I don't know what's wrong with me today. So what I tend to do now is look at the scenery, and I want to do some more stamping. So we'll work on the base first, and I'm thinking let's add some greenery. So when I was looking my stamps out, I was looking for stamps I don't use very much, and I've chosen the Twisted Vine set, and it's got 2 fabulous stamps here. So we're going to use this one. And also I've gone for the lavender. And again, this is a lovely stamp, and I don't tend to use this. And again, if you use your acetate, look, I'm thinking that would give us some height at either end. Now, I've chosen, as I say, some different colours of VersaFine Clair, and I'm thinking of coming in. I've got a combination of here. So we've got a light and a dark green. We've got the verdant and the shady lane. And then I've got an orange, a summertime, to go with pine cone. And I'm thinking they're going to team up nicely. So we'll start with the greens first. Now, remember when I was saying before about things lighter in the distance? So what I want to do is stamp this lavender as though it's in the distance. So I'm going to use my lighter colour. And again, if you notice, I'm altering the height and the angle. And we've got some first and second generation there. And that will straight away give us a little bit of depth and interest. Put the lavender back. And again, I always put them back on their acetate next to me, because otherwise it's so easy to forget what you've got where you put things. There's nothing worse than losing stamps. I mean, I don't know about you, but some of these pound stamps, the minis, they end up. So how many of us have lost a mini stamp? And where do you find them? So there was a lady the other day who found one on her slipper. I have to say, I found them, and do you know what? For me, on the base, on the metal, on these tins. but it is interesting. Let me know. So where's the most unusual place you found one of your stamps? Because they do disappear. So I'm using the Shady Lane, or Shady Lady as we call her, along the base look. And I love that, the green in the distance and close up. But also for me, as you know, because we've got some black in our stamping here, I like to add some black in the surrounding. So what I'm thinking is, give a quick wipe of my stamp and let's bring in a little bit of stamping, just a little bit of black as well. And again, I'm altering the angle, altering the height of these. So we want it to look natural. Just a couple here, and then I'm thinking one there. And if I bring that up, and I just think that looks lovely. We've got interest, we've got depth, maybe just a little bit there, poking in. And it is amazing how already it's starting to build up that lovely scene. And all the things I'm doing here, you know, we could just change them a little, do it on a larger scale, you know, add little bits of it. Now, another stamp I've got out that I don't use very often is the leaf creeper. And it is good to get out stamps that you tend not to use. Now, on this, I'm going to use both colours. Now, again, if this is something you haven't done before, this is a lovely little trick. And don't worry, look at that. I'm going to get over this. I've got a bit of ink on there, but we'll get over it. So I'm using the lighter colour first, and then I just want to come in with a little bit of the darker, and we'll come in and we'll do the longer ones here, look, and we'll do some first and second generation, and then clean it off, and then come in. And I love this effect. I'll do a close-up in a minute to show you. Clean it off. Must remember to clean it off, because if you don't, you get that. I mean, I must admit, I could wipe this if I had time. But it still works. Let's do this side now with the longer ones. I just love the two-tone. Like I say, I'll bring it a bit closer. You know, I'm not very good at doing close-ups. But you see when you get both colours together. And I just think that's so pretty. So if it's something you've not tried before, have a go. But remember, do as I say, not as I do. Remember to clean your stamp before you go in your colours. But these just work so well together. And we'll add a couple more here in front of the moon. I mean, it would look lovely with the two greens as well. In fact, I must try that. I think with the verdant and the Shady Lane, that would be a lovely combination on with this beautiful little leaf creeper. Oh, see, talking, I nearly forgot to clean it again. Let's just add one bit of brown on that, so they're not all the same. Yeah, now that's pretty. But what I'm thinking is, like we did before, we want a little bit of black stamping in here. So I'm thinking let's use the smaller of the leaf creeper. There's two sizes. So we've just got a little bit of the black. And we'll have a bit of a focal point here. We'll have sort of 3 together and then a space. And we'll have another 3 there. And then let's do a couple here. And a couple there. I don't want it too symmetrical. Little space there just want it a bit heavier there. I think it frames it better if it's a bit heavier with the black on that. Yes, I prefer that. I think, I don't know about you, but I think that frames it better. I do this, you know, quite happily talk to myself. It does worry me that one day I'm going to be doing this and realise I've not even switched the camera on. So we'll give that a bit of a blot. And then just for belt and braces, I'm just going to bring my heat tool in, just because I don't want to smudge this. I'm so pleased with it, so I don't want to smudge. The VersaFine Clair, as you know, is a slower drying ink. And me being me, I'm having one of those days, and I know I'd end up smudging it. Because the moon is there, I'm going to have some shade here. And I could use my charcoal pencils, my pastel pencils, but let's use our graphite and come back in with our mask. And we'll just pop it back. Oh, there we go. And again, smaller brush. I love these little brushes, so useful. And let's just drag a little bit of colour for some shade just under their bottoms. Drag it down. There we go. And doesn't that make a difference? And while we've got the graphite, let's give that a wipe. Let's just add a little bit around the edges, just to frame the whole design. So I'm coming in with one of the blenders now, starting the corner. And the graphite's a lovely colour for this. And again, if you notice, I always go into the lid. And we'll just whiz all the way around. In the corner. And then right along there. And then this corner and blend back. I like to ink up on my corners because I like my corners darker. So let's have a look. And I just think that really frames the design. So what we'll do now is give that a bit of a wipe and a dry. So that's your design. And what I'm thinking is we could leave that if we wanted. And you could frame that, pop it on a card. You could add some glitter, some stickles. You could add a sentiment. Oh, sorry, that's her who needs to be obeyed. Alexa, stop. She does like to chip in, doesn't she? Put her 2 penneth in. So, as I say, you could use this as it is, but we want to add it into our journal. So, I've got my journal here, and I've got a blank page. And I'm thinking, I would like this here. Now, I could do stencil work round the side, but we've done that before. And I want to make more of a bit of a storybook page because, again, a few of you have asked about stamping in the journal and how to make a scene. So let's extend this. So that's where I'm going to have it. And I'm just going to bring my mask in, and this is the hardest bit. There we go. It went there. But you know what? It doesn't matter as long as my edge is here. So I'm going to move it this way, look. And come in with olive. And let's just add some olive there. And we'll put that back. And then I want a little bit higher. So we'll take that there. And add our next hill. Now I'm just checking, can you see? Pop this back and we'll just repeat the same on the other side. So the other side we're going there. Let's have a look. And this one just literally goes off there, doesn't it? It's very slightly, just a little bit of a something there, I think. Yeah. And I just want a little bit under here, don't I? So let's just have some colour there, I'm thinking. And then we want the green sleeves. So wipe that. And this is where I run out of room, isn't it? Give my stencil brush a bit of a wipe. And let's find our hill. Was it this one that we used? Yes, it was. So we could actually move that if we had. So I could take that as that, yeah. And I'll put that there. If I just angle it, we can have it there. So back in with green sleeves. Pop this back on. So I just need to marry them up there. Just need a bit more there, don't I? Yeah, that looks better. Right, so that's going there. So this side, that needs there. Right, slide this out of the way. How are we doing? There we go. Now, we do need a moon mask. Now, this is going to be the tricky one, isn't it? Do you think we can get this? I'm going to put my green brush away. Otherwise, you know what will happen? I'll pick that up by mistake. Now, let's go. We're happy with that. Put our moon mask there. Hold it down. Slide this out the way. It's a bit like being a magician, this. And let's go. Now, as I say, if you don't have a journal, this could be on your backing card. So you could say put this on an 8x8 card blank, and this could be the backing card. Let's just add a little bit more blue in the sky. And let's see how we're doing. A bit lower. There we go. Bit like, oh, hold your breath. So we've got the scenery there. So we want a little bit of stamping as well. So in my pile here, hopefully, I've looked out the small fairy fir tree. And what I'm thinking is this is going to look lovely stamped here. Now, because my journal is a bit uneven, I'm going to add some copy paper underneath to help with my stamping. I'm going to use the black, the VersaFine Clair. Now, let's just give an idea. Now, I'm thinking here, this side. So I'm going to ink up. And this is where you can possibly run out of room. Right, so that should be nice and sturdy. So, and you do need a good press. Now, this is the rough journal. If you remember, there are two, the rough and the smooth, but that's beautiful. I think we'll have a second generation just behind. Yeah, I'm happy with that. And then I need a little bit of copy paper. So let's just tear that. And we'll have one here. So I'm going to ink up again in the black. But let's just give this a bit of a hill to be on. Or in fact, we could have it on this hill, couldn't we? That might be nice, and it can be a bit shorter. And then let's give a little bit of foliage. So do you know what? If we use the side, if I move this out the way, we use the side of the tree and we pop that there. That will just look like a bit of foliage growing, a bit of shrubbery. And if I pop the lid on my ink pad, otherwise, you know what'll happen. Put my fingers in that. And then with my fine liner, what I'm going to do is just give a bit of shrubbery like this. And this one here. Now there, obviously, we've got a wee bit of a mis-stamping, but not to worry, because we'll come in with our pastel pencils, and if we get the black, look, and what we can actually do is give ourselves the moons there, so the shadow will be that way. So let's just add a little bit of shadow in that shrubbery. And what looks nice is if you go for the green as well, just add a little bit of green in there and in with that shadow. And the same way here, look, so the shadow will be that way and that way. And we'll just add a bit of green here, look. Give that a smudge, because again, it'll just help. Right, pop those back. We've got to be in order, those colours. Right. And let's see. I think we can glue that in now. So let's get our bippity boppity glue. And let's just marry that up. We've got a bit of wiggle time with this glue, which is perfect. So just down a bit there. Moon, yeah, there, yeah, right, I'm happy with that. And I think that is lovely. But last of all, I just want to add, now you can leave it like this if you're happy with it. We just want to add, for me, a little bit of sparkle. And I'm just looking at my stickles, and I think I'm going to go for this lime green. And I'm just going to, now as you know, it can be a bit rude and it can spit. But I'm actually going to just dab some on, and just with my finger. And in this shrubbery here. And I just want to, a little bit, I don't want to over glitter it, just a little bit there. And we'll just add a little bit on the bottom, and then just so it all looks like a lovely cohesive design, so the whole thing matches. And then we've got the lovely sparkle. I love these sparkle poscas. And let's just give, now if you're worried about these, you can put a little bit, look, on here and grab your paintbrush. Now, let me just get, I have a favourite paintbrush, my Lavinia, and it's the number 1. So with your paintbrush, look, we can just add a little bit of sparkle, just as though it's reflecting from the moon, look. And if you're worried about your posca, sometimes it can come a bit thick. So if you just use your, look, and you can pop it exactly where you want it. And that just gives, there'll be a bit of sparkle. And it's just another way. But lastly, I want some little extra splats, just for sort of a bit of magic. So we'll put some here, and then some, oh, don't know what that is, a bit of extra posca. and a little bit round the base, and I want it to come off onto my page, again to help with that continuity of the design. Some in the sky there. I don't want to overcook it, just a little bit of sparkle and magic. And I'm actually going to call that a day. I think for me, that is my page complete. And that's how my head works. And I'm leaving this without a sentiment. I don't want a sentiment. I just love the story there. And as I say, for me, when I'm looking through my journal, one of the things I use my journal for is if I need a card, it gives me an idea of a design. So if I did need an anniversary card, I could look through and think, oh yes, I could use that design. It might be I add some stencil work. It might be I change up my stamps. But it's there, and that's going to bring it a bit closer so you can see, because I'm not very good at doing this for you, am I? So I'm hoping you've enjoyed that. I'm hoping it's given you some ideas for your journal, for cards. It would look lovely on a plaque, an MDF plaque. Do you know what? So many things you can use the stamps for. So you take care, everybody. Love and hugs from me, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.